I feel like a DJ, like, another one.
Boom! Scene 80, 80, 80.
Scene 83.
3.8 out of 5.
Whoa, no!
That just doesn't work for us.
Sound, speeding, camera, rolling. Scene 83, take 303, mark.
No half stars on take 303. No half stars on take 303. No half stars on take 303.
Welcome to Take 303, powered by 4-Way Media, the podcast with the guy who knows a lot about film.
And his friend,
I'm Nick Molinari.
JP Brooks. We're talking everything film and television, and today we are talking about Maharaja.
Maharaja.
I kept messing up. It's the J, it's the H, then the J. Maharaja. Maharaja.
Maharaja.
I keep doing it backwards. I'm becoming my father. He can't say sunflower seeds.
How does he say it?
Flunsour seeds. And I'm starting to do the same thing. It's getting real rough. And today we are talking about Maharaja.
But first, in cinematic news.
Cinematic news.
James Spader is returning as Ultron in Vision's new series on Disney+.
Who's James Spader?
That's the guy who voices Ultron. He's in the Blacklist. He was in Mannequin, actually, too, if you remember that.
I remember Mannequin. Is that the kid?
No, remember the guy with the glasses? He was like a big pain in the ass kisser kind of guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's James Spader.
Okay.
Yeah, he's reappearing in Vision's new series. We don't know if this will be some type of just cameo or if it will be a longer, running character. How do you feel about this?
Could care less.
Okay.
I'm really trying to find if I can care less. I have no opinion. I don't think that matters in any scope, in any facet of society.
Okay. Speaking of people who don't give a fuck, Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about this so much in preparation for Megalopolis. Once again, making headlines because he casted a group of actors in Megalopolis that have been previously canceled, and he said he sought out the canceled people to create a conversation. Francis Ford Coppola, I don't know if you heard the news a couple months ago, he had some allegations against himself also for just kind of like hugging and kissing on any female actress on set, mostly the extras. And this is not a laughable moment.
No, I'm not laughing. The way you said he had some allegations against himself, I imagine him making the allegation. Allegedly, and this is coming from me. I did something. Like, that was really funny.
Yeah, he's like, oh my god. He's like, I gotta tell somebody.
I'm not laughing at what might actually happen. I'm laughing at the fact that he might have been the one who spread the rumor.
Joseph Quinn, the guy that plays...
I know who Joseph Quinn is.
He is in Gladiator 2. He's the main character.
Okay.
And he said that he took inspiration for his performance from Philip Seymour Hoffman and Gary Oldman, but not Joaquin Phoenix.
For Gladiator?
2, yeah.
Why don't you take some fucking inspiration from Gerard Butler, you fucking moron? Isn't that the guy?
Or Russell Crowe.
Oh, Gerard Butler. Russell Crowe and Gerard Butler are the same person in my mind.
Well, he was in 300, so essentially he definitely took some inspiration from Russell Crowe. All right, when we come back from the break, we will be talking Maharaja.
Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a dream. Something that needs to be captured on the big screen. We at 4-Way Media love taking your passion projects and bringing them to life, whether you're a passionate artist or a small business owner. With expert videography and photography, we're going to take what you love to do, what you love to make, and transform it into a cinematic experience. 4-Way Media.
And we're back, and we're talking about Maharaja, starring Vijay Sethupathi, Anurag Kashyap, and Matma Mahadas.
Maharaja follows a barber who, after tragically losing his wife in a terrible accident, is now left alone with his daughter. And one night, after he wakes one night, after being knocked out unconscious, one of his prized possessions has been stolen. He goes to the police to ask them to look for it. However, his prized possession is so ridiculous to everyone else around him that they refuse until he persists. And he's a man who does not quit until he gets the job done. We follow him and we learn a lot more because not everything is what it seems in Maharaja.
much like Cuckoo, I heard a lot of whispers about this. I heard that it was just like a very spectacular film. It was, I think, third highest grossing for Tamil films. This isn't a Bollywood movie. I know that. And yeah, I just heard that it was so good. It was so good. And that apparently there was like a plot twist in the film or something that made it really good. And I like movies with good twists. I like mystery films. I like thrillers. So it did entice me into it. And what's funny is I was actually looking for a lighthearted movie the other night, and I put this on instead. And boy, was I surprised, because this is the furthest thing from lighthearted. What were your first initial thoughts when you started watching Maharaja?
When does the movie start?
Yes, yes. I told you, because I called you like almost immediately after watching the movie. I called you on Discord.
Yeah.
And I was doing something, and I completely missed you. Eddie said, like, you just missed Joe. But yeah, I watched it, and I was like, I really want to talk about this movie, because I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it. Also, Indian cinema doesn't get a lot of attention as much as like in America, more people are kind of focused on South Korean movies. Indian is starting to come up in the ranks.
It's just more accessible.
Yeah.
So.
That, and also for, long-term longevity here, Indian doesn't dub.
And I think the more and more the world consumes media, like, in fact, anime here now, just most people say if you watch the dub, that's bad. You should watch the sub. So subtitles are slowly more and more being accepted, and I think I would contribute to anime actually being a big forerunner for that.
But yeah, when I first started watching it, I just thought it was the slowest thing possible. And I didn't really understand it until about maybe an hour 10 in, when I started piecing together the puzzle, because it really just did seem so simple and so dry. And I was like, just come on, just like do something already. Like, get me interested in this, because I think that first big action scene doesn't happen until the 1 hour mark. I was trying to time these things.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because this was also one of those movies where I immediately went back to watch it. So I watched it, what was it, 2 nights ago, and then I watched it last night also. And it's one of those movies that you also get more after multiple viewings, because you can start seeing other things happening in the background. So with the story, I thought it was definitely a slow burn. It's something that is more rewarding over time. It doesn't give you enough breadcrumbs to want to go on in at least the first hour, I would say.
And it's a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. So
yeah.
Half the movie, you're just there.
Yeah, so I think it's also a thing that they want you to endure, the same way the police in the film are kind of tired of this man's story, that you're becoming tired of this. And honestly, I really was debating. I don't shut off movies. You know that. I stomached Buddy Mian, Choti Mian. Never forget. And this, I almost stopped, because I was like, this isn't at all what people were telling me. And then eventually things started kicking in. So story-wise, how do you feel the setup was?
Terrible. One of the worst hour of film I've ever watched. It's not terrible. There are some funny moments, him explaining it. I have the rewrite. I've got it.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think the problem is for this movie is I already know the ending now, which is tough. I mean, right? But I've got the rewrite.
I was worried about that too, because this movie has a twist, and
I figured it out.
Oh, okay.
As soon as they show the two groups of people together, I go, oh God.
Well, we're not going to spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah.
It's actually, for what it is, a very good twist.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I didn't see
yeah.
it coming. I know you're more of the novelist, so I feel like you can kind of pick up on foreshadowing a little bit better than me.
I just knew. I said, the only reason we're still here for the 2 hours and 20 minutes is you got to show me something. Because if you don't, I'm going to beat the fuck out of something.
That's how I felt. I was like, if I'm here for an hour and nothing's really happened, like,
Right.
I'm either watching Cuckoo or I'm watching a really good movie.
Well, and then at some point in the middle of the movie where they reveal what you thought was the story this whole time, and then they reveal that it's not.
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm like, okay, so don't believe anything. And so my brain starts thinking about everything I've watched in the last hour and a half that actually matters, which are like 4 scenes. And I was like, and then once I saw that, I was like, oh, all right, that's what they're going to do. And then when I was like, okay.
I did think that overall, there are the little bits of dialogue that I feel could have been trimmed out. I think there's a lot of repetition in a lot of the lines, but I think probably one of the better written films that I've seen from India. I will say it is very tense. It is very methodical, especially in its cinematography. I think even in that first hour, like, I know I felt like I had to endure. But when I watched it on a rewatch, I was like, wait a second. They're really showing, not telling. And they're giving you the clues. They're all hidden there. There's even one-off line that I can't believe I missed.
You have a lot of great pieces here. I think the execution is the problem. I actually think this entire movie should be from the perspective of the dirty cop. Like, when the girl says, this is our dustbin, it's the most important thing. Like, you just ruined half the movie.
Yeah.
Like, even if you do that for 10 minutes, and the guy just opens with, yeah, this is, like, the most important thing. And then he tells, like, oh, it saved my daughter's life or whatever. That's different.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think, when I initially called you, I was like, this isn't a perfect movie, but I think this is one of the best that I've seen from that area. And I think, like, you could trim 20 minutes off, or you could rearrange something, and it could be a much stronger film, even though it's pretty strong as is. And I think the reason why we're dancing around this film is because this is one of those films that has a twist so good that it's in the ranks of things like Fight Club and Old Boy, and in terms of twists. I'm not saying quality.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How big? For how big?
For how big of a twist it is. Like, this is one of those game-changing twists. Like, I was one of the people who didn't see it coming, so when it happened, my jaw literally dropped. So performances, how are we feeling about them?
I don't hate anybody. I think everyone's doing a pretty good job. I think, obviously, our main actor is doing a fantastic job. I think
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
The movie was actually almost named after him because he's a pretty big deal in Tamil film. This is like his 50th movie that he's made, so it was almost like named like his name with 50 in it, which I think would have been weird to an American ear, but it's like big for them. But yeah, I think he's doing a tremendous job. I haven't seen him in any other movies before. I'm definitely going to look for more, and I think the antagonist also does a really good job at being like hated. I think, like, there's that old saying of like a movie is only as strong as its villain, and when you really hate the villain, that's when it's a good movie. I think the
one scene where they establish the villains.
Yeah. I was like, that's when my heart dropped probably like 2 times during this film. It's a very tough film to get through. So if you're someone who's more into like lighthearted films, not into dark stories, this is definitely not the movie for you. But there are at least 2 very hard scenes to sit through.
The beginning always has to be lighthearted goofiness with exposition dump. Like, you just have to have that. And
Yeah.
I think the movie's better with no exposition dump, and that's my big argument for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, you're Joey Chops for a reason.
Yeah, and
Exposition is not your friend.
exposition is not your friend. Even though, ironically, one of the things I'm writing, the first 2 pages is exposition dump. But
Well, it's a novel. I think novels are.
you need a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yet I still leave a lot of unanswered questions or what do you think. Anyway, we're not talking about that.
Yes.
But
So moving back, I think one of the highlights we have to definitely discuss is editing. I think I'm not sure if the script had the timelines intertwined, but if not, I think the editing, they do a really good job, especially in some of the juxtaposition of different scenes, different metaphors, visual metaphors that are going through the film. There's a lot of really great establishing shots in the beginning that I really enjoyed, and I think the fight sequences are very well covered.
yeah, there aren't enough fight scenes. I can't believe I just said that. For what this looks like, I thought it was going to be way more actiony, and it's not. I thought there should have been a couple more. I think maybe 1, but it's still good for what it is.
I do have an issue with the intensity of the fights because people get smacked really fucking hard with a pipe, like to the head, and they just walk that off.
All right.
Like, and it makes a really big clinking sound too. Like, so I think, yes, the action scenes look cool, but I think that the stakes inside of them aren't really there.
That's exactly what I was say. The tone of these fight scenes, like, they're being way more intense. They're being the characters and stuff, and this is probably my big problem with the movie. The characters and the way they're fighting, you would think that they all know the secret plots, and none of them do, but they're fighting like it's like, bro, Like,
Yeah.
I like, take your sunglasses, calm yourself.
Yeah, that, and then also just in general, like how they know how to fight. Like, I understand maybe for the criminals, the barber, there is still that mystery to his background
And
and,
they don't-
how he could hold up against these
and they
guys. I thought it's really cool that he pulls out the literal
The barber's blade.
the barber's blade, and uses that as a thing. And I think that would be much cooler if they were able to choreograph the fight scenes in a way where there was weight to them.
Which is why Nobody is the perfect fight scene of all time, because he's retired, he's out of the game, and he's still fighting 5 guys on a bus. I don't care how expertly trained you are, you're getting fucked up.
But also in Nobody, because
Yeah.
I finally got to see it. They actually do have like weight to these injuries. Like
Right, yeah.
they don't just walk these things off.
and these slap, 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 stab, stab, stab. I'm good.
Yeah,
That-
you get cracked in the back of the head with a steel pipe, you are not walking that off.
Yeah.
There's no way.
They don't. The actors express some of the damage, but visually, there's not enough makeup team here to show the damage.
Technically, they show some, like he gets stabbed in the leg, and then the next scene he's walking without a limp. Cinematography,
Was there a crane shot?
no,
No,
No.
there wasn't.
not worth
That's
worth
what makes
talking about.
cinematography a 10 out of 10.
There was no crane shot, so we can't talk cinematography.
Here's, oh man, I had so much. There's so many problems with this movie.
All right, favorite scene or
Anytime Joseph Bromley's just push it right through.
right through. I don't give a shit. No, I just got to move it for the
Favorite
for
scene.
the pod.
Favorite scene.
Favorite scenes, least favorite scenes. Like, what annoyed you in this movie?
I know it's building to something because I'm watching a movie and it has to. Otherwise, I'm not doing the podcast anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because I'll kill someone.
Yeah, I do think that there was an over establishment of many characters at a time in the beginning.
I knew who everybody was when they were talking. I just didn't give a shit because nothing's happening. And they gave you too much about our main character. If you're going to do all the stuff that they did, tell me nothing about the main character. Let me want to really discover who this guy is. And they don't let you do that. They tell you exactly who the main character is. And so when he goes to the dust, when he's trying to go to them, we know why he's there and why it's important to him. And so I don't feel anything because I know the mystery. I don't have to engage, and it's just up to the cops. Now, I think some of that's funny, but then we're jumping around to different people, and instead of me wondering, oh, how does this fit in, I know, well, this has to fit in because it's going to tell me eventually. So I think that's the problem. They don't allow the viewer to think, and I think that is... Some people say sitting back and like turning off your brain in a movie. Actually, people want to be thinking and like they like the active mystery, and they don't let you ask enough questions. They just tell you everything from the start.
Even his bank account isn't really established.
Nope. And they don't lead you anything through that. A lot of stuff,
There are some plot holes. There are conveniences.
but the movie is banking too hard, I think, on the ending, and that's like they know it's such a good ending that they don't fix up these little details. Like, well, listen, the ending's going to be great. Who cares about the beginning?
Right, which is why I think, and it got me very curious. That's why I had to look up this movie immediately after. I was like, this would be a absolute fire remake. Like, if someone like did exactly what you're doing, if someone listens to this podcast, and especially in America, if they really like dial it in and lead us through a mysterious
This could
film,
be our old boy. Yeah.
this could be a really good movie. But yeah, this is India's old boy right now. But seeing where it can go, I think this movie can get even better. I think there is a tremendous movie inside of this movie, and I looked it up. There is a remake in the works, but a Hindi language one, so it's still in the hands of India.
Well, I mean, I have faith in them. Maybe somebody will figure it out.
But it's going to be in the Bollywood sector.
God,
So-
exploding cars.
So the action could be dialed up, the mystery could be dialed down. Like, I really don't know where this is going for this one. But Kill was a really good Bollywood movie that came out a couple months ago. I think maybe it's a 50-50 shot if it's good. But I think, again, like, this is the type of movie that, again, I like this movie overall. But I think as someone who hates remakes, I wouldn't mind seeing this get remade in better hands.
Is it a waste of time? This is a tough movie for me because, man, do you like at the core, every story is very simple because the interesting part of the story is our main character And in order for that, we need there to be mystery. In the same way, Old Boy, we have a ton of mystery about our main character, yet we're still on his side. And I think the way they could have wrote it, just the way he acts and the way he portrays, that's why I think our main actor does a great job here.
And I see what you're saying, because in Old Boy, they don't give you everything about this main character until later on. They give you like little bits of like how he behaved in his life before. So this we could have sprinkled throughout how it led up to him, the dustbin being the most important thing in his family's life.
Yeah. And I still think with all the jump backs and the flashbacks that you sometimes know or don't know it's a flashback, it's kind of hard to like kind of make sense of it all too. I think there are a bunch of plot holes, like you said, there are a bunch of plot holes here. But that being said, I don't know who wrote this. If this is like their first time writing.
This is the director's second film.
I think that shows a lot. Because I think this is someone who's like clearly he's got the gift and the talent. Now he's just got to like refine some of those finer points, round it out. I think I would definitely watch if he made a third film. I'd watch it.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like the way I pitched it to you, I was like, "Hey, buddy, do you want to not watch The Crow this week?" And you were like, "Tell me more." and I followed it up with, "There's this movie. It is not perfect, but it is really like something that we could talk about."
So the problem with Cuckoo was they loved the mystery, but they didn't know their ending. They didn't know the payoff. This one, they know their ending. They don't know how to keep it mysterious because India loves expositions and Bollywood. Again, it's a Tamil film, so I won't say it, but we'll say the eastern part of the world loves.
I think you say Tollywood.
Tollywood?
Yeah,
we'll call it Tollywood.
I don't let's just actively say I don't know if that's actively correct, because there is Telugu films and Tamil films. I don't know which T has Tollywood.
Well, I can definitely say everything east of the United States. I can definitely say loves the exposition dump. Whereas like
Except for South Korea.
South Korea. Oh god, those guys are amazing.
Sorry, Tollywood is Telugu. So
Telugu?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
let me see what Tamil is.
Tamil Hollywood.
This is Tamil films are part of Kollywood with a K.
Kollywood. Okay.
Kollywood. I never would have went for so Kolly wood.
Yeah. Okay. Kollywood, Bollywood,
Yeah. So this is
Hollywood.
a Kollywood film.
all the Hollywoods besides the H1.
Yeah.
Well, even the H1 too. Yeah, too much exposition dump, but I think it had the tropes I was kind of expecting. But I think this gives me life. You told me like, hey, invest in Kollywood. Here's a movie. Why? They're not there yet, but I'm like, oh, I would. All right.
So how about we head into final thoughts and ratings?
Sure.
You've been going first a lot.
Great.
How about
I didn't
take
want to
this
go
one?
first. Yeah, I didn't want to go first.
I think I have to go first. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this shirt.
Oh yeah.
Probably not appropriate for this movie, but
Yeah, dude, it's Kollywood, bro. Show some respect.
Kollywood, what's up?
Just a text message.
Oh, okay.
It's cannoli week for me. I apologize. Nick, you can restart.
Cannoli with a K?
Cannoli with a K.
All right. So Maharaja is a Kollywood film that I feel is really going to start setting the bar for films from that area, but also the neighboring areas. And especially after seeing things like Kill and Chandu Champion, I think India is heading in a direction where they're telling some really fantastic stories. They're still rounding out their style, and it's a style that might not fully translate to American audiences, but it's one that I think is interesting enough to say, go out and see it. Maharaja is on Netflix right now, so it's very accessible to see as long as you're cool with subtitles. I think the movie itself does a really good job overall. I think there are some plot holes. I think it's not the most perfect movie. It is not something that is going to visually wow you, but I think there is enough that if you invest in this story and you sit down and if you watched even just a portion of this episode and you're like, what are these guys talking about? If that intrigues you, go and watch this movie. Read nothing about it. Watch none of the trailers. Just go watch it. I think it is something that, you know, I enjoy personally movies that I know nothing about and watching and just learning about. This is one of those movies. I think if you're into darker films, if you're into darker themes, again, this is not a lighthearted film at all. I think this is a movie that can surprise you. It could intrigue you, and it will definitely make you want to talk more about this film. So I think for all of those things, This is not a perfect movie. I don't think it is a mid movie, and I think it's one of the stronger films that I've seen from that region. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5.
I knew you would.
Did you think I was gonna go 5?
No. If you would have went 5, you were tricking yourself, and I would have lost a little respect for you.
You just walk out right now.
I would walk out. No, it's a tough one. Very tough one. Because I think, again, there are lots of good things to say about this movie, and yet there are some glaring, obvious, can't ignore weaknesses. The other problem, this is a really bad time for me. It's a busy time of the year for me with the festival going on. So my attention span is running thin, and I don't have time to waste.
Yeah. I know it was a debate between going outdoors to see The Crow or staying inside for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Did it help?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's a tough. I mean, it's always tough with these because, like, really at the end of the day, and I think you mentioned it, is because nothing is wowing you, with the cinematography. Like, it's all very simple. All you've got is the story, and are my characters interesting enough and funny enough to make me want to care? Kinda, not really. Is there enough mystery? No. But the second half of this movie, if you look at it as 2 separate movies, one is a 1 and the other one's a 5. Rounded out, average should be a 3. But giving this a 3 really hurts me.
Oh, you're taking me on a plot twist like this movie.
Yeah. I think because, man, yeah, no, really, like 1 and 5, 2 scores divided by 3 is 3. So it feels like a part 1 of a part 2, maybe. I don't know. This is really tough for me. I think, though, I'm going to be kind. Or not be kind. I think a 2 does feel too harsh for this film, simply because I think for what it is, they really did everything they could to make this as good as they could. And though there are some issues about why it's not interesting enough, I think if enough people watch it, I think for someone who isn't expecting anything, the thing about the dustbin, some of the bits, it is interesting. I wish they didn't turn to so many different little, timelines and perspectives. So I will just give it a 3. It's a very weak 3, but it's a 3.
Soft 3.
This has been another episode of Take 303. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at take.303 and check out our sponsor, Fortway_media. You can also like, comment, subscribe on YouTube at Take 303. Make sure you're following us on there. We release all the episodes on there as well as Spotify, Take 303. Make sure you're following us on everything. Check us all out. We sometimes do t-shirts. We have hoodies. We got lots of things coming out.
Actually, yeah, we're doing a new merch drop soon.
New merch drop soon. If you want one, buy one. If you don't, buy one. Great. What else? This week's poll question of the week is, what is your favorite foreign film? And then this week's poll question of the week is, what would you rather have on your back? An ear, a toe, a thumb?
It's pertinent to our movie this week.
Yeah, so if that doesn't get you to watch the movie, I don't know what will. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.